Hi, I'm gonna run out of storage in literally 3 nanoseconds because that's been happening for the past month because I refuse to clean out my phone because all of my hoarding tendencies kind of come out in my digital devices. Do not look at my desktop and my computer. It's a mess in there. Anyway, that's not important. I've been busy for the past 2 years because I've been trying to get into my program at my school for illustration. So part of the application is a sketchbook. Here it is. Look how thick it is, boys. So this is the sketchbook I'm going to be turning in for my BFA review to get into the BFA. To hopefully get into the illustration BFA at my school. So this is kind of like a lot of work mashed into one sketchbook. This is what it looks like on the back. This is a sketch that I did a long time ago, like freshman year of high school, I think. And I thought it encapsulates me. So we're gonna go through it and just show you what I've literally been doing for the past year and a half.
Okay, hopefully I have enough light. So let's start. The majority of this is glued in because I had some good pages in here, but most of them were either empty or not finished. So I went back to a bunch of old sketchbooks and I'm sorry this is gonna be really not the best setup. Anyway, that's my grandma. These were some portrait studies I did for class homework. Anyway, I went back through a bunch of old, smaller sketchbooks. And I tore out the pages I liked and then sort of glued them in where there was space. These were statues at one of the art museums in DC that I went to over the summer. I took pictures and then sketched them on the plane over to school. That's me. I was drawing me and then I in watercolor pencils and acrylic. Anyway, so it's kind of a hodgepodge of a sketchbook. But I kind of like the look of it. But it's a hodgepodge, but it's kind of it kind of does show, over all of the sketchbooks I've done, my favorite sketches that I've done in each of those sketchbooks. So I feel like it's a good representation of what I do in my sketchbooks, since it's a Frankenstein monster of all of them. I was at a music performance outside, and I was drawing some people. This is based off of an 80s dress I found at an antique shop. Also, this video is probably going to be kind of long-ish. I don't actually know. But it is the sketchbook that's kind of deciding my future. Well, maybe not. That's a little dramatic. But it is going to be a factor in whether I get into my school's program or not and can actually get my own BFA space, because every project I have for any of my art classes I've had to do in the living room of my apartment and just kind of ruin all of my roommates' lives by just taking up way too much space. But then when I get into BFA, I get my own space. So I actually have a place to do stuff. So yeah, I would say 80% of the sketchbook, maybe 70%, is glued in stuff. And they said that was okay, in the guidelines for your sketchbook application, or for the sketchbook you turn in, is that it can be messy and just showing your process and things. So that's what I did. Nothing I do is ever neat or clean. So it's a good representation of all of my work, I guess. I also put some portrait studies in here because I wanted to, show them I could actually do realistic stuff as well. That's some people. I was trying to do more life drawing as well this past little while. Just a smattering of skills. That's my roommate, Catherine. We were on a train. I draw a lot of people on the train. I don't take the train that often, but when I am, I like to take advantage of people just being forced to sit across from me, and not move until the next stop, so I have that allotted amount of time. I don't remember doing this painting, but it was my freshman year of college. I'm a sophomore right now, by the way, at the end of my sophomore year. Katara, my roommates and I have been rewatching Avatar: The Last Airbender, and it's fantastic. My favorite season is definitely the third season. We're only a few episodes in, and I'm already oh right, this is my favorite season of any television show ever. It's so good. These were based off of Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella with Brandy and Whitney Houston. And it's like my favorite version of Rodgers and Hammerstein Cinderella I've ever seen. It's so great and like colorful. I love it. This was my roommate from freshman year, Sarah. I love her and I miss her. That's Fiona from Shrek the Musical. I haven't actually seen that whole musical all the way through. But I really do like that song. The song where she's in the tower. This was for an illustration project where he assigned us someone in the class. And I got my friend Paige. And, well, she's my friend because of this assignment. And then we drew each other. And so I did a lot of thumbnails for that. So these are just some of the thumbnails. She told me she liked D&D. And then told me like a little bit about her characters. So I made a sketch based off of, or I made the final piece based off of that. These are more thumbnails. I thought these were good to put in my BFA portfolio sketchbook because, I don't know, it shows like my process, like how I think about how I'm gonna make a piece. I ended up picking, what's the actual thing I picked? I think I ended up picking something like this. That was a more like finished study of her face. She just like sat in front of me. I just wanted to get her face down for the actual thing. That's a sketch I did when I went to CTN in Burbank. That was like a crazy trip I took last semester in November, and it was just the coolest experience ever. I applied for a grant from the school to go to CTN, and it was like the coolest thing. I went by myself. That was like the first like trip I've ever taken by myself. Like just, I mean, I was staying with family, but that's Harry and Ron. Anyway, it was like a big deal. Like I kind of applied on a whim to the grant and then I totally got it and I was like, oh shoot. So I had to like plan really fast to like go to Burbank, California in the middle of the semester. It was so cool though. I met like all of these artists I follow on Instagram and I was like a total fangirl around them. I even showed some people like my sketchbook and they like told me what they thought and like what I should work on, and it was so good. And I saw like the first, I don't remember, I don't think it was the first screening, but I saw like 30 minutes of Into the Spider-Verse before it came out, and I was like, oh dang, all other Spider-Man movies are quaking. I loved Spider-Verse. That was like one of the best movies that came out in 2018. Was it? Yeah, it came out in 2018. Spider-Verse and Mamma Mia Part 2, best movies of the years. Best movie of 2018. I bought some heart-shaped glasses a while ago, so I did a little self-portrait based off of that. This is MJ from, Spider-Man. Love her. Can't wait to see her in the next Spider-Man movie. This is Jadis from Narnia. I felt like I actually got her, dang, what's her name? Tilda Swinton. Got it. I felt like I got Tilda Swinton's, aura right or whatever. Like, it kind of looks like her and feels like her. She's so evil in that movie. I love it. Some mermaids. This was for an idea that's like probably never gonna happen, but like it was based off of a song. This is Leonard Bernstein. I went to this like music hall and like to his old house or something, and they had all these pictures of him, so I drew one of them while I was watching the concert. Those are some toucan studies. I think that was like for Inktober, or I don't know. I was just wanting to draw toucans. I've been drawing more animals recently. I love like animal drawings. I've been looking at like, mostly I look at like people drawings because that's what I do, but recently I've been looking at some like really interesting animal drawings, and like that's exciting. That's some architectural stuff. That's Meg Murray. I was the one of 3 people who actually liked Wrinkle in Time that came out. This was the sketch for a finished piece that I'm submitting to the BFA review, so I thought I'd include that. It's Sade. That's how I think you pronounce it. She's a singer from a while ago. She doesn't really make stuff anymore, but she made a song for the Wrinkle in Time movie, and so I like ended up looking up her other songs, like No Ordinary Love, and her voice is just beautiful, and it's like such a smooth, beautiful song, and so I created an illustration based off of it, and that was her. In the music video, she's like a mermaid, so, and you know how I feel about mermaid. This little watercolor sketch I did over Christmas break. Also, this is Harry. I did a few spot illustrations for my illustration class. I ended up drawing Aunt Marge because I got chapter 2 of book 3 of Harry Potter, which is when Marge blows up. So my boy Harry, I was going to include him in one of them, but it didn't end up happening, which is sad because I love him. So I did Inktober in this sketchbook. So there's the sketch for this thing I had for an idea for Inktober. This is a sketch for an idea about a fairy godmother that I have been thinking about recently. Anyway, that's the sketch, and this is like the finished piece. I kind of like the sketch better. It always be that way, doesn't it? Anyway. There's the sketch for this piece. I just messed up her face because it was in ink. I didn't like it, but I like the sketch. So, you know, maybe I'll redo it one of these days. Sorry, everything's like oriented so weird. Those were sketches of Sabrina. I was watching Sabrina earlier this year. I think October was when it came out. Yeah. And it was good, but not good enough for me to watch the second season. Sorry. There were all those afros, and I felt inspired to draw one. That's my cat, Polo. I sort of sketched him with extra paint I had. That's 11. I also, during the summer, rewatched all of Stranger Things, which was a great experience. I was basically alone all of summer, so I had lots of free time. And yeah, I just love 11. She's a great character. I'm so excited for season 3. I totally freaked out when the trailer for season 3 came out. It looks so good. I've literally only been watching Stranger Things edits for the past like few weeks. Anyway, this was another Inktober sketch, and that's the sketch, and that's the finished piece. Those are some texture blocks I did for class, my illustration class. That's another sketch that kind of went with a different one for this idea I had. Paige from earlier in the sketchbook came to class on Halloween wearing a Gwen Stacy outfit, and I thought it was awesome. So I drew her while she was just like chilling in class. It was like I was doing a figure drawing of Gwen Stacy, but it was just my friend in a costume. It was great. That's based off of Cher from Mamma Mia Part 2, the best movie ever. I love that movie. I watched Mamma Mia probably 6 times this year, just like at random moments. My roommates and I will be like, and now it is time to watch Mamma Mia. And we will. We'll just like drop everything and watch Mamma Mia, and it's the best. This was for Inktober. Y'all know who it is. Y'all already know who it is. My girl from Hocus Pocus. I love her. This was a really fun piece to do. And I liked doing all the detailing on her outfit and her hair and stuff. This was another one. I just had this idea of someone swimming, and I liked the composition of it. And then I drew it like 15 more times. There's another lady chilling in the pool. There's more Meg Murray. And another little sketch. Those were some other small Inktober sketches. Frankenstein Girl, and I don't know who that is, but this was a more finished drawing of Meg Murray. I just really love her character. I think I love her character more than I love the movie. Like, I just wanted to see her. And also, I think she liked this Instagram post, which was very nice of her. There's John Boyega. I was doing, like, portraits for class. This house holds a lot of pain for me because it was a house that I did a final project on that I ended up getting, like, a C on. Like, my teacher did not like it. So this house is, like, right across from where I live, and there's just a lot of pain associated with it. And I thought I didn't care about grades, but then I, like, got a bad grade on it, and I was like, oh, ow, my self-worth. But, you know, we can't win them all, you know. Shuri. This is from when I watched Black Panther. Right after, I was like, I must draw Shuri. She was the best. Marvel, give us a Shuri standalone film. The people, we need it. The people, we want it. I was really trying to create, like, finished pieces for Inktober, no matter, like, how simple they are. Yeah. There's another little sketch. I just kind of glued in things wherever they would fit, basically. I was drawing my roommates. That doesn't look anything like them, but we were watching Little Shop of Horrors, I think. So I was just sketching them on the couch. It doesn't look like them because they kept moving. That's their fault, not mine. I was playing with watercolor pencils, and I did a little illustration. Here were some thumbnails for some possible Inktober ideas. This one I sort of did. I changed the idea. My idea was to do people with animals, and I stuck with that for like 2 days and then gave up. But this one was while I was still in that animals phase. This was like, I was trying to, I was like dealing with some artistic self-doubt, and I was like, that's what it looks like in my head. Not anymore, really. I mean, I still do. It's just, that's not what it looks like. It's bigger and more violent. That was me, an outfit I wore one Sunday. I was wearing like my big fluffy Narnia coat. And it was like, I felt very, very regal and also kind of evil. So, and that's Seymour and Audrey, because I was watching Little Shop. They're actually doing Little Shop next year at my school, and I could not be more excited because it's like my favorite musical, and I'm gonna finally be able to see it live. That was another Inktober sketch. That was like a sketch for the earlier piece. Again, I like the sketch better than the finished product. Why is it always that way? Why? That's a sketch of Daisy Ridley. Love her. This is Tanya from Mamma Mia Part 2. I haven't created enough Mamma Mia Part 2 fan art, or Mamma Mia fan art in general. These were some shapes that I like turned into looking like something illustration-y because I didn't want to just leave this page blank. So this was a sketch for the aforementioned bad grade house thing that I did. Mermaid and some like a character I was thinking about making into like an actual character. For what? I don't know. I don't know, random beach sketches. I don't remember doing these actually. I mean, that one's pretty recent. I just like wanted to fill in that space, so I sketched something that might look like it fit on this page. These were some like, I was sketching from Pinterest, so I was like copying some stuff. This was like totally like deep in October. So I was watching lots of like spooky movies or like spooky whimsical movies. So this was Young Frankenstein. And then I had like a brief obsession with The Bride of Frankenstein. Here we go. There she is. I just like love her character design. I just love her like big hair. And I was like, I must draw it. I must. So I did. One of the fun things about being an artist is if like you want to see something, you can just draw it. If I want to see more Bride of Frankenstein content, I can make it happen. I did like a really quick car sketch. You know how car sketching is. Bumpy. That's Sally from when we watched the Nightmare Before Christmas, which was a lot better than I remember it being, actually. At my old summer job, I like scanned a bunch of I scanned this costume book, like a bunch of pages from this costume book, for selfish reasons, because I wanted to like draw all these costumes. And that's probably not what I should have been doing at work, but you know, it was useful. That was another sketch I did at work on a post-it note, and then my boss was like, stop using all the post-it notes. Peacocks. I went to a museum on campus that has a bunch of like taxidermied animals and did lots of animal sketches because I'm trying to learn how to do animals. But honestly, like, I used to be sucky at animals, but now I'm like, now that I know how to draw people better, drawing animals is just like drawing people, but not also. But it's like, once you learn how to draw people, like, drawing animals isn't so hard anymore, because you mostly focus on, like, shapes and, like, making things look like what they look like in real life. So it's not so hard, actually. And there was a tiger, or a liger, named Shasta, so that was fun. Only in Utah. Anyway, so I think we're, like, about halfway. Maybe, like, a little more than halfway. I don't know how long this is gonna last. Bob's Burgers. Oh my gosh. Bob's Burgers saved me this semester. Literally, like, watching Bob's Burgers has made my life, like, measurably better. Like, if you're feeling sad randomly, watch Bob's Burgers. It's the most beautiful, heartwarming, funny show ever. That's another Sabrina fan art. Or for Sabrina. Anyway, back to Bob's Burgers. Bob's Burgers is so good. I cannot express. My roommates are so angry at me because I'm just, every time I get the TV, I'm like, it's Bob's Burgers times, boys. And they're like, no, but they end up loving it anyway, so. These were more sketches for my spot illustration for Marge, which actually turned out pretty good. I'm glad. But that's Marge being annoying and mean. She deserved what she got. Do we know what happened to Marge after she, like, blew up? Did they, like, erase her memory? I think they did say that. Anyway. That was another Inktober sketch. Spock. We watched all the Star Trek movies. And that's a sketch of me when I cut my hair short. But Spock's my favorite character, right next to Kirk. They're both great. Spock is my precious Vulcan boy. It was my roommate on her phone, so I sketched her. They're kind of like, I have to sketch my roommates because they're just there all the time. I was gonna put a dog. I did end up putting a dog in my Marge illustration. So... bulldogs. More Spock. Love him. That's a sketch of me. I did a Mamma Mia performance with my roommates for a talent show. We did Super Trooper, and I like wore a feather boa. It was great. So I like drew my ideal self. That's like me right there, like villain self. I think that's Katniss Everdeen randomly. I was like remembering The Hunger Games. Hashtag remember The Hunger Games. It was a good book series. I didn't watch the last movie, though. I was too busy watching Force Awakens. We're so close to the end. Please, phone. Please, give me some space. There's River. My friends forced me to watch some episodes of Doctor Who, and I just kind of fixated on her because she's the best. That's an Inktober sketch I did. There's an earlier thumbnail earlier in the book. And that's me when I was going off to Burbank, and I was like kind of nervous, really nervous. But it ended up being a great time. I'm always like scared that things are going to go disastrously bad. That's not a word. That things are going to go horribly bad. And they're usually not, which is nice. I wouldn't say I'm an anxious person, but like when things are kind of out of my control or if they're in my control, even worse, because I'm like, I'm gonna ruin it somehow. Anyway, that's another sketch based off of that 80s dress that I found but didn't fit me, like, so sad. I bought a different one. These are a character idea I've had like since high school for this dude. One day, maybe this summer, I'll do some stuff for him. I don't know. Not making any promises. Some of the stuff you might have seen if you watched other sketchbook videos of mine, because I cut them out of those sketchbooks and glued them in here. Just some ladies. This orientation of this page is all messed up, but just more ladies. I liked this expression. I don't know why. We're upside down now. Kermit. I've been watching like Bob's Burgers and Jenna Marbles get me through the week. Kermit, my boy. We love Kermit. I'm in a Polynesian dance class. Actually, not anymore because the semester's over, but I was in a Polynesian dance class. So I've gotten into like Polynesian traditional dance clothing. So I sketched some of that. Anyway. I met a really nice girl on a plane, and her name was Riley. She was awesome. She sketched me. And I sketched her, and we like switched. She was so nice. I loved her. That was an Inktober sketch, painting, just of a spooky lady. That's 11 and her new season 3 look. So excited. Her new like 80s clothes. I love. So excited to see her graduate from plaid to like funky 80s clothes. At CTN there were like live figure drawing models, and so the next few pages are that. Yeah, that was really cool to have people actually in costume posing like just around. So I like stayed there for like 10-ish minutes and drew them. It was fun. There's River again and another Inktober sketch. And the lady from the live drawing thing. I got into Tanya Harding briefly and was like into figure skating for like 2 seconds. More drawing. I just did like crazy drawing at that thing. They were like actual actors, so it was so fun to draw them. There's another one. I think the vibe was that like her butler was trying to poison her and she was like a fancy lady or something. That was like the vibe of the entire thing. Those are some sketches in my like notes. It's from school. I should know better than to take class notes because it just turns into drawing time mostly. So now I try to take like notes on my laptop, which also doesn't work because of the internet. That's more sketches from my pages from the costume book I did. Hands. Did this for my anatomy homework for my figure drawing class. And then I thought I'd include them to show that I can actually draw hands. Contrary to popular belief, I can. More from the costume book. I just like loved all the old designs. Also the like drawings. They're all drawings, and all the drawings were super cool. That's a sketch from Pinterest. These are just random stuff. Christmas was coming, so I was drawing some Christmassy themed things. Anyway, I drew her in some hot chocolate. My phone died again, or my phone ran out of space again. So now I'm just trying to like, we're almost there, boys. My apps, I'm like deleting them, and they're just like dusting away like in Infinity Wars. I was in a room full of girls, so I just like drew all of them. I was just like, I'm gonna draw every single girl in this room. So I did. There was like a listicle about these 50s women with their Christmas trees, and I related to it on some like anatomical level. I don't know. It just like really spoke to me. And I was like, I want to be one of those 50s ladies next to their fancy tinsely Christmas trees. Anyway. And I was also watching Twilight Zone. That's a sketch from like the Twilight Zone. Not the new one, the old one. More hands. We're just gonna speed through this. This is from The Proposal, a movie I love. The best movie, best rom-com ever. More anatomy, boring, but like, necessary, I guess. From White Christmas. More proposal sketches. Like, that's the funniest scene ever, where she's like trying to get the dog. And oh, so good. More anatomy. That's Queen Quen on Twitter. She's so funny. More anatomy stuff, abs and things. Random stuff. That's Miles. I love, oh man, Spider-Verse was so good. I saw it like 3 separate times and it was just so good every time. An instant classic, instant beautiful, best movie, best Spider-Man movie. It's like tied for Homecoming and like Spider-Verse, like my 2 favorite Spider movies, and Spider-Man 2, my top 3. Spider-Man 2, Spider-Verse, Homecoming. That's the final say. Baudelaire Kids, I watched that show. It was like the most beautiful book adaptation show I've ever seen. Like, so good. Like, the characters were so good, and I don't know, I didn't even read the last few books of Series of Unfortunate Events, so I was like surprised by everything that happened, and just the Baudelaire Kids, man, they're so good. They're so, like, I just wanted them to be happy. Oh, we're so close. We're so close. I can feel it. Okay. This was like a random comic I made about fear. I posted it on my Instagram at Middleman, and follow me on there. I post things all the time. That's the villain from, well, not the main villain. One of the villains from Series of Unfortunate Events, and she had this amazing octopus outfit I loved. This is like the last page. That's MJ. Some other random stuff. Oh my gosh, we did it. We finished it. And in here I have like an extra little book. But we're not going to go through that because there's nothing of note in there. Anyway, that was it. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for, watching. And wish me luck on getting into my program. Cool. Okay.